Hello everybody, what's going on? This is Andrew, and today I'm continuing my Generation Nuzlocke, or Gen-Locke. The Gen-Locke is a continuous hardcore Nuzlocke through each of Pokemon's main regions. The full rules are in the description of the video, but in short, no items in battle, no over-leveling past the next gym leader's highest level Pokemon. If a Pokemon faints in any leg, they are permanently boxed and that whole evolution line is unavailable for any future leg. And I'm playing with the Species Clause, which only lets me catch one Pokemon from any given evolution line. So far, I've completed Emerald in the Hoenn region, Fire Red in the Kanto region, and Platinum in the Sinnoh region, which next brings me to Heartgold and the Johto region. Getting to bring Bron-Char the Houndour and Stakar the Swinub back to their native region is really exciting for me, and they're joined by Aunt May the Tentacool and Howard the Psyduck. While I'm here in Johto, I hope I have a chance to visit the nearby Kanto region and check on my brother Aaron, who stayed and continued training there after we both went through Fire Red. Upon arriving in the region, Johto's Pokemon professor, Professor Elm, offers me the choice of the region's starter Pokemon. I like all three of these Pokemon, but only one offers me type diversity that I'm currently lacking. So I choose Chikorita, name him Happy, and add him to the team. After hatching all of my returning Pokemon out of their region transports, I'm ready to begin my journey, with running an errand for Professor Elm. On the way, I battle a kid named Silver. He's kind of unimportant and probably won't come up again. I gain access to Pokeballs and can start catching team members. I add Soren the Pidgey to the team and send a Sentret to the box as I make my way to Violet City, the location of the first gym. I also take on Joey along the way, the strongest trainer in all of Johto, and I let Bron-Char run wild in Sprout Tower, almost burning the place to the ground in the process. When Bron-Char finally gets kicked out for being a massive fire hazard, it's time for me to take on Falconer, the flying gym leader. And Falconer is a dirty, rotten cheater. Not only does he rely on annoying accuracy strats, but he has a level 13 Pidgeotto. We all know that Pidgey evolves at level 18, so what's going on here, buddy? Anyways, I lead Stakar against his Pidgey to get the type advantage. Powder Snow almost one-hit KOs the bird, but since it doesn't, it lets Pidgey hit a sand attack. Of course. This leads to Stakar missing his next attack, while Pidgey lands a critical hit tackle. So even though Swinub can take out the Pidgey on the next turn, when Pidgeotto comes out, it hits a gust and Stakar misses another Powder Snow. So now I need to switch up my plan. I need to switch around. So I go into Aunt May, who misses a Supersonic and can't stay in. Happy takes exactly half damage on the switch, so now he can't stay in either. I decide that I have to sacrifice Soren the Pidgey so I can switch to Bron-Char safely. He goes back and forth with Pidgeotto, Ember vs Gust, and he actually falls to just 1 HP before dealing the killing blow and taking out the genetically modified bird. I assumed that Stakar would be able to breeze through this gym, and so I didn't have the whole team leveled up to the level cap, meaning I had to sacrifice Soren. Thank you so much for your sacrifice, Soren, and I won't make that mistake again. Going forward, everybody will hit the level cap before I begin these gym battles. South of Violet City, I run across Mareep, the God of Thunder. I add Thor to the team and continue my way south. In Union Cave, I catch Brook the Geodude, and while dealing with Team Rocket in the Slowpoke well, Thor evolves into Flaffy. Then, while preparing for the next gym, I ask Happy to wait to evolve until level 17 when he learns Reflect, which I think will be really important for Scyther in the next gym. Then Happy evolves into Bayleaf. Since Aunt May is still pretty weak right now and hasn't learned that many good moves, I leave her in the box and bring Brook the Geodude for my battle with Bugsy. Bugsy has a Scyther, which is terrifying for this early in the game. It also has the Technician ability, which increases the power of weaker attacks, like Quick Attack. I start with Thunder Wave after Scyther gets off a Leer. Then I Growl while Scyther goes for Focus Energy. Uh-oh, that's really scary. This dumb bug is gonna crit a lot, isn't it? I switch to Geodude to reset the defense drop from Leer, and Brook also gets hit by a Leer. I switch back to Thor as Scyther gets fully paralyzed, and start using Growl to lower Scyther's attack. After Thundershock does little damage, Scyther hits a critical hit Quick Attack, killing the God of Thunder in a single hit. So now I go into Stakar, who survives another critical hit quick attack and activates Scyther's Citrus Berry. I switch to Bron-Char, and then to Brook, who also almost dies to a critical hit quick attack. I'm just reeling here, so I go into Howard and try to disable quick attack and force Bugsy to use U-turn, which would reset the focus energy. But Howard gets hit by a crit and misses her disable, so I need to switch again. I finally go into my starter Happy, who sets up a Reflect and starts chipping away at Scyther. Scyther isn't doing hardly any damage, and Bugsy finally decides to go for U-turn. Now I can switch to Bron-Char to easily one-hit KO the Kakuna. Then it's back to Howard until Bugsy gets frustrated and U-turns again, which happens pretty quickly this time. Luckily, Scyther misses the crit on Happy, so I can switch to Bron-Char and kill Metapod now too. I stay in and outspeed Scyther, knocking it out with one last Ember from Bron-Char. Well, that's a second gym battle that's gone completely off the rails, and I accidentally killed the God of Thunder, but I did make it through, and I am moving on. Sorry, Thor. On my way out of town, Silver shows up again, but he's no match for my team right now. Howard outspeeds Gastly and one-hit KOs it with Confusion, while Howard and Stakar are able to team up to take out the Zubat. Then I can switch into Bron-Char and Quilava, using the Flash Fire ability to blank his incoming fire attack. I hit a few bites to bring him to half, but in the process I took 2 smoke screens, so I switch into Howard, who can easily finish off the Fire Badger. As I'm leaving town, I get a call from my favorite person in the world, Joey. Joey confirms what we already know, that his Rattata is in the top percentage of Rattata. Obviously, this kid is going places. After saving the Farfetch'd that was lost in Ilex Forest, I can return to their house and get a Charcoal, which boosts the power of Fire-type moves, which is going to be a great item for Bron-Char all throughout this playthrough. When I make it through Ilex Forest, my team is already close to the level cap of the next gym, so there's not much to do. I go straight to the location of the third gym leader, Whitney. Her Miltank is infamous, but my team has a decent amount of physical bulk, so I'm feeling confident. But before the battle, I do backtrack all the way to the other side of Union Cave to pick up the Shell Bell item, which will help keep my Pokemon healthy during the battle. Now, no more stalling, it's time for Whitney. I lead Brook the Geodude against her Clefairy. Brook takes 1 damage per slap from Double Slap before hitting back with a weak Magnitude 4. Then Clefairy mimics Magnitude while I go for a Rock Polish to try to set up, which now will not be a great idea because Clefairy knows Magnitude, which is super effective on Geodude. So I switch into Happy while Clefairy goes for her trademark Metronome instead, rolling Transform? What? So I set up a Reflect with Happy, then switch to Bron-Char, who can finish off the Imposter with 2 Embers while taking minimal damage thanks to the Reflect. When Miltank comes out, I switch back to Brook, who is still basically at full health. Brook and Miltank swap Stomps and Magnitudes, while Brook flinches a few times thanks to Stomp, and eventually leaving both Pokemon with yellow health. Brook tanks another Stomp, and then decides to end the battle with a Magnitude 8 that scores a critical hit as well. And that's Whitney defeated. After winning the battle, Whitney starts crying. Are you okay? After she calms down, I grab the 3rd badge and get out of there. I head north to Ecruteak City, the location of the 4th gym. The leader, Morty, isn't at his gym right now, so I explore the city. I end up saving a Kimono girl from Team Rocket and receive the HM for Surf in the process. This is a huge upgrade to both Aunt May and Howard's movesets. While searching the city for the gym leader, I decide to check out the Burned Tower. I do find the gym leader here, but I also run into Silver. Bron-Char takes out his Ghastly, and then I switch to Stakar on Magnemite. He takes it out with a Mud Bomb, and then I have to switch on Quilava. Howard takes little damage from the Fire Badger, and takes it out with 2 Surfs. Then, one last switch to Brook, deals with Zubat after a quick back and forth. After dealing with Silver, Morty, the gym leader, tells me that he's here with his buddy looking for the legendary Pokemon, and they can't seem to find them, even though they're right there through the floor. Like, seriously guys, just look. So I go downstairs to show them what I'm talking about, and in the process spook the legendary doggos, give Suicune a stare down, and then take off. Now that Morty's gone back to the gym, it's time to do my final preparation. At level 24, Bron-Char evolves into Houndour, and I'm pretty sure that's all I'll need to take care of the Ghost Leader. But, just to be safe, I train Brook and Aunt May up to the level camp as well, and while training nearby, I catch a Tauros named Luis, and now I'm ready to take on Morty. And Morty is easy. I howl on the first turn and get hit by a curse, but now I can outspeed and one-hit KO all of his ghosts with Bite, and the healing from Shell Bell makes sure that I don't die to curse damage. And it's as easy as that. Way to go, Houndour. Since the Olivine City gym leader Jasmine is caring for the injured Amphi, she sends me to Cianwood to pick up some secret medicine. While I'm here, I decide I should take on the next gym too. So some amount of training later, Aunt May evolves into Tentacool, and then I'm ready to take on Chuck. And Chuck, I think standing under a waterfall all day is impacting your decision making. Aunt May has some great setup moves at this point, but Primeape hitting a focus punch could be bad. So I lead Aunt May and start with Barrier. Then I set 2 layers of Toxic Spikes. All Primeape does this whole time is just use Double Team. So it does get off 4 double teams, and I set up a second barrier. Then I click Surf. Surf hits, gets a critical hit, and takes out the Angry Monkey in a single hit. Poliwrath gets badly poisoned on the switch in, and even though I can't attack with Surf thanks to Poliwrath's water absorbability, the writing is on the wall. Tentacool's high defense, the toxic damage, and the chip damage from Acid all guarantee a victory. Next, I return to the lighthouse, help heal Amphi, and proceed with my adventure. Since Price's ace is at a lower level than Jasmine's, I decide to go and do all of the rocket stuff in Mahogany Town before I challenge Jasmine. I agree to help Lance, watch him annihilate this man, and then take care of the rockets. In the hideout, Howard almost dies to a crit Hyper Fang from Petrol's Raticate, but since she doesn't, she gets to evolve into Golduck. I catch Flash the Electrode, this Flash, not that Flash, and drive Team Rocket out of town. In Price's gym, Happy evolves into Meganium, and Stakar finally evolves into Piloswine. Price is actually really easy for Happy. I give him some cool glasses, the choice specs that I found up near their Lake of Rage, and then Happy dances his happy little pedal dance, outspeeding and one-hit KOing all 3 of Price's Pokemon. I had to get a little lucky to get a 3-turn pedal dance, but it was so great to watch Happy do what he loves most, dance. With Price's badge in hand, I fly back to Olivine City to challenge Jasmine. And she's also really easy as Brook the Graveler just learned Earthquake recently. I lead Brook and hit an Earthquake against the first Magnemite. Then I switch to Howard as Steelix just sets up a Sandstorm. In this battle, Howard is borrowing Happy's cool glasses, and a Choice Specs boosted Surf is more than enough to take out the Steel Snake, before Jasmine's last Magnemite comes out. Then, it's an easy switch back to Brook to hit another Earthquake for the win. When I step outside the Olivine City gym, I get a phone call from Professor Elm. He tells me that Team Rocket is acting up again, and that I should check it out. So I fly back to Goldenrod City to investigate. And sure enough, Team Rocket has taken over the Goldenrod City radio tower, and their master plan is to use the radio waves to reach out to Giovanni. Okay, sure. You do you, Team Rocket. Petrol is the first Team Rocket boss, and he has a team filled with self-destructing coughings and wheezings. Usually, this is a huge problem for Nuzlockers. Luckily for me though, Howard has the Damp ability. This may be the only time this ability comes up, but right now it's kind of great. Damp doesn't let Pokemon self-destruct, so now Howard is completely safe and can just go off using Surf to drown all of these little poison bombs. After dealing with Petrol, I make my way to go rescue the director, and run into Silver again. I'm a little overleveled here, and Silver doesn't really stand a chance. Brook should be able to take care of the Golbat easily, but instead, she gets a 2-turn Rock Blast, hits herself in Confusion 3 times, and Golbat gets an Air Cutter crit. What are the chances? So I have to switch to Aunt May to finish off the dumb bat. Then Stakar comes out to take care of the Magnemite with a single Mud Bomb, and then it's a switch back to Aunt May who easily deals with Quilava. Surf also takes care of Haunter, and 2 hits take out the Sneasel in the back. With Silver defeated, I can finally go scare off Team Rocket once and for all. And with Team Rocket out of the way, I can make my way towards Blackthorn City, the location of the final gym. On the way, I evolve Brook into her final form, Golem. This thing is so slow, but she's so strong. I also am able to teach Stakar Ancient Power at the Move Relearner in Blackthorn, and level him up, which triggers his evolution to Mamoswine. Nice. While exploring and training around Blackthorn City, I come up with a plan for the final gym leader, Claire. She leads with a Gyarados, and my current team has no really good way to deal with it. So I go to the PC and grab Flash the Electrode. They can outspeed and deal with Gyarados easily, and then the rest of the team can clean up her real dragons. So I send Flash out first and set up a light screen, lessening the damage from special attacks for 5 turns. With light screen set up, I can switch to Howard. Howard has her cool choice specs and has learned Ice Beam thanks to a TM I earned by playing Voltorb Flip for hours in Goldenrod City. She outspeeds and takes out both Dragonairs. Then Claire's ace Kingdra comes out. So I decided to switch to Happy, who on paper is a really good counter to Kingdra. Kingdra likes to lower accuracy with Smokescreen, but Happy knows Magical Leaf, which always hits. Happy also knows Synthesis and Light Screen, both of which can deal with the damage Kingdra's dealing. So in theory, Happy should be pretty safe to hide behind Light Screens, healing himself when he needs to, while whittling down the Kingdra. And everything was working pretty well too, until Kingdra got a critical hit. Now, this is particularly scary here because Kingdra has the Sniper ability, which makes crits do more damage. So Happy dies to a Sniper crit that I still think was a high roll to kill. I'm so sorry, Happy. I go into Aunt May, who poisons the dumb seahorse with her first poison jab and kills it with the second. Way to avenge Happy May. After the gym battle, I went back to the Pokemon Center, buried Happy, and added Flash permanently to the team for now. I'll have to do some planning before deciding on a new permanent team, but Flash can hang out with Brooke, May, and the rest of the gang while I had to think about what to do. There are a few encounters in particular that I want to track down. First, I can return to the Dragon's Den and receive a special Dratini that knows Extreme Speed from the Elder. Star-Lord will be a sweet addition to the team once it can evolve into Dragonite. And second, I can finally traverse all the way through Mount Mortar. In the very back of the cave, you can find the Karate Master, who gifts a Tyrogue after I defeat him. Tyrogue is a really cool baby Pokemon that evolves into one of 3 options. Hitmonlee if its attack is higher than its defense, Hitmonchan if its defense is higher, and Hitmontop if the 2 stats are equal when it hits level 20. I decide that I want Hitmontop because Tyrogue's Steadfast ability will turn into Technician. Like I said before, Technician is an ability that increases the power of moves with less than 60 base power. So attacks like Fake Out and Quick Attack, and even Hitmontop's signature attack, Triple Kick, all get power boosts. On top of that, Hitmontop has a monster attack stat, and he's just really cool. Ronan, welcome to the team. He's going to replace Brooke for now because she doesn't really help out with the league, and Ronan is going to be great against the Dark-type Master, Karen. But before I can go to Victory Road and the Elite Four, I have one last task to take care of. I take down all of the Kimono Girls, featuring Ronan in his debut battle. Just look at how much damage Fake Out is doing. This is insane. Then the Kimono Girls want me to catch the legendary Pokemon Ho-Oh, but instead, I just knock it out. Now I can hurry along to Victory Road by surfing east from New Barktown. There are no trainers here, which is weird and kinda eerie, but it makes my traversal through the cave pretty easy, and at the end I run into Silver again. He tells me that he's already beaten and scared off all of the trainers here. Oh, so it's like that, is it? He leads with Sneasel and I lead with Howard. Howard's Surf knocks out the Dark-type Pokemon. Then I switch to Stakar when Magneton comes out. Stakar can outspeed and one-hit KO the Electric Steel type with just 1 hit. Then Typhlosion comes out, and I've got a sneaky play here. I switch to Bron-Char, whose Flash Fire ability absorbs Typhlosion's fire attack. I howl once while Typhlosion uses Swift, and then I start biting. I get 2 flinches on my way to knocking out the Fire Badger. Golbat comes out, so I switch to Flash. Flash outspeeds and knocks out Golbat with a single Thunderbolt. This is going great so far. Flash is holding a Bright Powder, which actually makes Golbat's Confuse Ray miss here. That's cool. Thunderbolt doesn't quite knock out Haunter, which lets me finish it off with a Charge Beam, which gets the special attack boost, so I stay in and hit Thunderbolt against his last Pokemon, Kadabra, knocking it out in a single shot. Way to go, Flash. Now I can leave Victory Road and begin my final preparation for the league. My final team and their movesets are on screen right now, and I'm really happy with this team, and I feel really prepared for the league. Now, let's get to it. If you were paying attention on the last screen, you'll notice that I made a mistake. Bron-Char is a special attacker, and should know Dark Pulse, which I picked up the TM4 in Victory Road, instead of Bite. Bron-Char can easily sweep Will if he knows this attack. But I forgot to teach the TM before starting the battle. Oops. So now I have to improvise, and things get bad against Slowbro. Slowbro sets up Amnesia and Curses, and I'm just flailing. I don't know what to do, and I start switching around haphazardly. I don't know if I can even knock out this Slowbro, because none of my attacks are doing any damage. I decide I have to risk a crit on Bron-Char and go for a bite. I get a flinch, and then another flinch, and I bring the Slowbro down to the red. Now I can switch to Howard to try to get the knockout. But Water Pulse confuses my duck on the switch, meaning I can't easily go for the knockout. I decide to risk Bron-Char once again, but Slowbro just goes for another setup move. Now I can outspeed and finally knock out the tanky Psychic type. This took so long, and Will just decided not to attack with Slowbro for forever. What a weird battle. Bron-Char could easily kill this Exeggutor, but I can't actually use Flamethrower because Bron-Char is holding the choice specs right now, which locked me into Bite. So I need to switch to Hitmontop, hit a Fake Out, bait the Exeggutor to use Psychic, and then switch back to my low health Doggo, which blanks the incoming Psychic, and now I can outspeed and knock out the tree with a Flamethrower. From here, I need to switch again, this time to Stakar. 2 Ice Shards are enough to KO the Xatu, and then one final switch back to Houndour on Jinx's Psychic ensures victory. Flamethrower knocks out the Jinx, and wins me a very messy first Elite Four battle. Bron-Char was my plan for Will, and he's my plan for Koga too. He leads and knocks out the Ariados with a single attack. This Muck could be annoying, but Stakar can one-hit KO it with an Earthquake, which is great. Then I switch back to Bron-Char when Forretress comes out, and one 4x super effective Flamethrower torches the bug. Crobat threatens to set up a bunch of double teams, but Flash does hit one Thunderbolt and paralyze Crobat thanks to Static before they have to switch out. Howard finishes the bat with Ice Beam, and then Houndour can come back out and knock out Venomoth with one final Flamethrower. Bruno is up third. Hitmontop threatens to do a lot of damage, but I have a plan. If I'm allowed to set up with Aunt May, she can easily sweep Bruno's team. I start with the barrier while Hitmontop digs. Then I can use Protect on the next turn when it tries to attack. I get off a second barrier while Hitmontop just goes for counter. Then I get to +6 defense and +6 attack, all while Bruno just sits there and uses counter. So Hitmontop does nothing while Aunt May sets up to +6 on defense and attack, and now can just outspeed and sweep Bruno's team with powered up waterfalls. Cool, thanks for the easy setup, Bruno. Karen is the final member of the Elite Four, and she sports the brand new Dark type. Umbreon can be a pain, but I'm hoping Ronin will shine here. I lead with a Fake Out for chip damage, and then outspeed and knock out the evolution with a single triple kick. Murkrow's out second, and a switch to Flash guarantees the KO on the following turn. Next, Karen sends out her ace, Houndour. I want to one-hit KO it with Howard, but Howard takes too much damage and then flinches on a Dark Pulse. Oof. Okay, fine, time for a backup plan. I can switch between Ronin and Bron-Char, using Fake Out to chip away at Houndour. Bron-Char never gets hit by the flamethrowers targeting Ronin, and Ronin resists the crunches that are targeting Bron-Char. So when Houndour gets into the red health, I know Karen will heal, so I can click Triple Kick, which connects and takes out the Houndour. When Gengar comes out, I have to switch to Aunt May, but now she can set up Sword Stances while Gengar just uses Spite and then does pitiful damage with Focus Blast. Waterfall knocks out the Ghost, and then eventually takes out the Vileplume as well. Okay, great, that's the Elite Four defeated, and now it's time to challenge Lance, the champion. And Lance's team is stacked, with 3 illegal Dragonite and 3 Pokemon that look like dragons but are not Dragon type. So I'm really hoping that Stakar and Howard with their Ice type attacks will be up to the challenge. I lead Howard into Lance's Gyarados. Ice Beam should be a 3-hit kill, and since I outspeed, I should still be in the green for the rest of the battle. Unluckily, I get 2 low rolls in a row, and Gyarados survives on like 5 HP. And then Gyarados uses Flail, which drops Howard to like 5 HP. I guess I need to switch to Flash now as Lance heals. I had led with Howard instead of Flash because even though Flash can take out the Gyarados easily, Flash being out baits out Lance's strongest Dragonite. Howard could have outsped and taken out Dragonite with Ice Beam, but Howard would always die to a crit on the switch. So I didn't ever have to want to switch Howard in, so I led with Howard to try to just have Howard be out forever. Now, obviously, that's not a possibility, so I'm improvising from here. I Protect to check what move Lance is going for, and it's Outrage. Outrage will just knock out Flash, but I don't think I have any other choice. I go for Thunderbolt, and get a crit, a Paralysis, and a full Paralyze. This lets Flash get in another attack, and I go for Charge Beam here instead of Thunderbolt. I do this to keep Dragonite out of heal range. It eats a berry and kills Flash, but now Stakar can come out and KO the Dragonite from here with Ice Shard. When Lance sends out his Charizard, I obviously have to switch, so I go into Aunt May. I set up a barrier, which ends up just being a bad move because Charizard crits with its first Air Slash. I decide that I have to make another sack, so I just click Waterfall, which actually outspeeds and gets the flinch on Charizard. Okay, Aunt May, okay. Aunt May then takes out Charizard, and another Dragonite comes out. I decided the best choice from here is to go into Ronin to tank a Dragon Rush, but it goes for Thunder on the switch instead. Okay, it sees a kill with any move, so it's just choosing randomly. Next, I forget that Dragonite has Inner Focus, and it can't be flinched by Fake Out, so I get in some chip damage, and I don't get punished as Dragonite misses Dragon Rush. Okay, Fake Out does way less than I hoped, so now I need to switch again. Stakar is at risk to a crit, but should be able to kill both Dragonites with Ice Shard if he doesn't die. I send out Mamoswine, and he doesn't get crit. This means he can outspeed and KO this Dragonite, and the next one with Ice Shard, leaving Lance with just Aerodactyl. My team is pretty beat up, so this fight definitely isn't over yet. I decided that the best option is to try to KO with Stakar, but I'm pretty sure it isn't enough damage for the kill. I end up being right, and Aerodactyl survives, letting it get off a Rock Slide, which Stakar actually survives. And that's the battle. Eventually Stakar crits Aerodactyl, KOing it from full after Lance heals. Talk about clutch. Stakar and Aunt May made this win entirely possible after Howard missed the knockout on Gyarados. Whew! And with that, I've done it. I've become the champion of the Johto region. Flash gave their life to make this happen, and I didn't let them down. Usually, a run would end here after defeating the champion, but I want to go and check out what's new in Kanto. Now that I'm champion, I can go ride on a boat from Olivine to Vermilion City, where I can start collecting Kanto gym badges again. I'd also like to see what my brother Aaron's up to, and I've heard about a Pokemon trainer Red. Apparently he's really good. I don't think I'll rest until I challenge Red, so I bury Flash, pick up Star-Lord out of the PC, and I make my way to Kanto. In Kanto, I decide to take on the gym leaders in this order, because the level gaps go in approximately this order. I'm going to breeze through the Kanto part of the game, just giving highlights as I go. After a pit stop in Saffron City to grab the Psychic TM, I challenge Janine, the new Poison gym leader. Howard comes out first with the newly learned Psychic attack, and just misses the kill on Crobat twice, and Crobat lands a Confuse Ray. Then Howard hits herself in Confusion 3 times in 4 attacks, taking out the Crobat but dropping to just 15 HP in the process. I switch into Stakar to get the type advantage but get poisoned immediately. Knowing that I can't stay in for long, I go for plan C, which is switching to Aunt May and setting up a sweep. This play ends up working just fine, Aunt May doesn't take basically any damage, and Aunt May can sweep the rest of Janine's team. Next up is Surge, and Stakar can one-hit KO all of his Pokemon, but he doesn't outspeed either of the Electrodes or the Electabuzz, which means this could be a little scary. Luckily, nothing goes wrong here, and Stakar finishes off the Lieutenant. And after a bunch of random fetch quests all over the Kanto region, Misty is up next. I lead Star-Lord to paralyze her lead Golduck. Psychic does way more damage to me than I was expecting though, so I switch into Howard. We trade attacks until Howard proves herself the better duck. Ronin takes out Quagsire over a couple of turns, and then Lapras comes in. Luckily, Ronin outspeeds and can one-hit KO the Lapras with close combat. Starmie's last, but Starmie doesn't know any Psychic-type moves, so Aunt May actually walls the Starmie, and with leftovers keeping her healthy, it's only a matter of time after some setup until she takes them out. Next, I head over to Pewter City and challenge Brock. Howard leads and takes out the Graveler with an Ice Beam. Aunt May switches in on a crit Rock Slide from Kabutops, messing up my entire plan. I was going to set up here, obviously I can't do that anymore. So Ronan comes out and dodges a Rock Slide, and then takes out the Kabutops with a Fake Out into a Triple Kick. Then it's back to Howard to fill Brock's gym with water from Surf. Amistar doesn't go down in just one hit, but the writing's on the wall. Howard keeps using Surf, and eventually Howard finishes off the rock-hard Pokemon trainer. Now that level cap is level 55, I can finally evolve Starlord into Dragonite. This powerful dragon is a very welcome addition to the team. But he'll have to wait a little bit before his debut, because now it's Bron-Char's time to shine. He cleanly deals with both Sabrina and then Erica, burning everything to the ground in the process. Bron-Char just has no chill and has breezed through parts of this game. While making my way south towards Cinnabar Island, I ran into this trainer on Route 1. I wasn't recording at the time, because I didn't think I needed to, but she has a Starmie that I was not prepared for at all. This Starmie was better than Misty's Starmie. Unfortunately, it knew an ice attack that I didn't expect it to know, and Starlord ended up dying, sacrificing himself for the team. Thanks for everything, buddy. I know you didn't get to make quite the impact that you wanted. Most of it was off screen, but I loved you all the same. I end up bringing Brooke the Golem back onto the team to take back her place in the starting lineup. When I finally make it to Cinnabar Island, the volcano erupted recently apparently, bringing the whole place to the ground. Luckily, Blaine and all the scientists and gym trainers were able to make it out, and they set up shop on the nearby Seafoam Islands. Howard used Surf 3 times during the gym battle, winning me my 15th gym badge. Now I can return to Viridian City to challenge the elusive gym leader. I wonder who's in charge now that Giovanni's gone back into hiding. At the back of the gym, I find none other than my brother Aaron. He stayed in Kanto, remodeled the gym, and made it a place of high caliber training, weeding out any remnants of Team Rocket. After taking a moment to catch up and chat for a minute, it was time for us to battle. He was the gym leader after all. If you remember from the end of Aaron's Nuzlocke in Pokemon Emerald, only 3 Pokemon survived the champion battle. He kept those 3 with him in Kanto for training. His Magcargo, his Swalot, and his Vileplume. He leads the battle with his Vileplume, and I start with Bron-Char. Luckily for me, I get the type advantage first, and one-hit KO it with Flamethrower. He sends out Magcargo next, and I don't know what attacks this Magcargo has, so I decide to switch to Howard. Howard takes some damage from an Earth Power, but is able to outspeed and knock out the Fire Snail with a Surf. Next, Aaron brings out an Ampharos. I switch to Stakar, who doesn't take damage from an incoming Thunder attack, and can outspeed and one-hit KO with an Earthquake. Aaron sends out Alakazam next, which I assume is going for a Psychic, so I switch into Bron-Char. But you know what happens when you assume, because the spoon-wielding fox was instead going for Focus Blast, which almost one-shots my doggo, leaving him with just 11 HP. Now Alakazam will just go for a random move, because any of its moves will get the kill on Houndour from here, and I'm not sure that I can outspeed and one-hit KO with Dark Pulse. I switch into Aunt May, and Alakazam predicts my switch and goes for a Charge Beam, and gets the special attack boost in the process. I then go back into Stakar, who gets blasted by Psychic down to just 11 HP. And at this point, I know what has to happen. There's a small chance that Stakar's Ice Shard would one-hit KO the Alakazam, and there's a chance for Focus Blast to miss, so I decide the best thing I can do from here is just use Ice Shard and hope. But I don't get the right luck this time, I don't get the one hit, and Focus Blast hits, knocking out Stakar. Thanks for everything, buddy. Ronan, though, can come in now and outspeed with a Fake Out, but Aaron goes for a heal. But that's totally fine, because Fake Out does so much more damage than I was expecting thanks to Technician, and a follow-up Quick Attack can finish off the Alakazam. Umbreon, Aaron's new ace, comes in next. He outspeeds and confuses Ronan with a Confused Ray while Ronan misses a Triple Kick. Then he blasts Ronan with Psychic while Ronan hits himself in confusion. Now I have to switch again, so I send in Howard. She tanks the Psychic pretty well, but doesn't do enough damage with Surf. She gets hit low with a Dark Pulse, so I go back into Ronan as Aaron heals with a Moonlight. Are you kidding me? Fake Out gets in for some chip damage, and I decide to risk a crit and go for Triple Kick again. Ronan drops to 5 HP before missing another Triple Kick. Are you kidding? I have to go into Aunt May here. I use Protect often to stay healthy with leftovers after setting up a Sword Stance and attacking with Waterfall. It looks like it might be a long back and forth, but then May just hits a critical hit with Waterfall, taking out the evolution. That brings out Aaron's last Pokemon, Swalot. Aunt May won't take much damage from Gunk Shot, so she can stay in and end the battle with 2 more Waterfalls. What a tense battle. And I wouldn't expect anything else from my brother. I'm sad to have lost Stakar on this battle, but I'm glad that his sacrifice wasn't in vain. And with that, I've collected all 16 gym badges and can go on the hunt for Pokemon Trainer Red. I decided to add Luis, the Tauros, to the team. Luis has the Intimidate ability, which should come in handy, and boasts a huge attack stat and decent type coverage. I train up Luis before beginning to climb up Mount Silver to hunt for Red. After a short climb through the cliffs and caves of Mount Silver, I arrive at the snowy summit. I approach Red, and without a word, the battle begins. I start the battle with the newest member of the team, Luis. His Intimidate ability lowers Pikachu's attack stat, which is actually really important. Now I can switch into Brook on an electric attack and go for an Earthquake. Brook now survives an Iron Tail with over half and can knock out the Pikachu. When Lapras comes out, I can switch to Ronin. I thought I was safe to a crit here, but it actually looks like I wasn't. Oops. Well, I didn't get punished, so I can outspeed and one-hit KO it with a close combat. Charizard comes out next, and I switch to Howard. She tanks a Flare Blitz really well on the switch, and can outspeed and knock out the Fire Starter with a Surf. Red sends out his Venusaur next, so I switch to Bron-Char on a Giga Drain. Bron-Char can then outspeed the Grass Starter and torch it with a single Flamethrower. When Blastoise comes out, it's time for a quick setup. Aunt May completely walls Blastoise, so it's pretty safe to set up some Sword Stances. Blastoise misses a bunch of Focus Blasts, and Leftovers is healing back all of the chip damage from Hail. When Blastoise finally does land a Focus Blast, it does pretty cute damage. Once May gets to max attack after 3 Sword Stances, it's time to attack. Poison Jab is a clean one-shot on Blastoise, and now Red is down to his last Pokemon. He sends out Snorlax, and a +6 Poison Jab is enough to just bring it down to the red. But Poison Jab picks up the poison, Snorlax's Crunch doesn't do hardly enough damage, and poison damage actually doesn't even have a chance to proc as the chip damage from Hail finishes off the now second strongest trainer in the region. And that is how I completed a Pokemon Heartgold Hardcore Nuzlocke, the 4th entry in my Region-Locke journey. I'll be taking all 6 of these Pokemon that had a hand in taking out Red with me on my next adventure. Thank you so much for watching. I had a lot of fun playing through Heartgold again, and it was especially cool to be able to use some Johto Pokemon like Houndour and Swinub that are usually unobtainable until way later in the game. Unova is up next for me, so stay tuned for that. Thanks again for watching, I really appreciate it, and I'll catch you next time.